Alright, I have a fun game here for you. I'm playing the Honor and Profit ID, Jinteki ID, Tennin Institute. So this is the one where if the runner did not make a successful run on their turn, you can advance a card, and that is advance any card. So I have a lot of Honor and Profit cards in here. The player in our local play group prints out spoiled cards, and we play with cards that will soon be. So I'm playing against my buddy Chris here. He's got a pretty cool Reina deck, and I don't know how much of it we're going to really see in this game, just because weird things are afoot. I'm using precognition to, I don't know where I'm going with that, something about getting cards from the future, and yeah, I don't know if that really works. Tennin Institute is my favorite ID so far from Honor and Profit, and that I've only really played with Tennin Institute, and only with some of the cards that have been spoiled, and yeah, this deck is not fully thought out, but it has some cool things in it. So the deck has a good amount of money. As you can see there, it has Successful Demonstration, which I think is a great card, and I think works pretty well with Tennin Institute, in that you really want to stop them from making a successful run, so you're willing to res some big piece of ice, and Successful Demo means that you can get your money right back after resing something pretty nasty. So I also got a Neural Katana in there. I think I had a House of Knives. House of Knives is a really interesting agenda. Personal Evolution is going to love it, as will the Chronos Protocol Jinteki, if that one wins. Which is the one where, when you do the first net damage in a turn, you pick the card out of the runner's hand, instead of it being random. So House of Knives is just more ways to execute on that. More little bits of net damage. Some icing up. Yeah, House of Knives is a 3-for-1 that has 3 power counters on it, and you could use the power counter in a run, just one, and it doesn't net damage, so you could use it in a run. And I got the, oh god, I forget what that one's called. Philonomic Entanglement or something like that. I'm butchering that name. That's a 3-for-2 agenda that when you score it, you do 1 net damage for every point, I believe, every agenda point in the runner score area. So Chris here is getting set up, getting some money going, getting a knight, just preparing, just waiting to see what I'm doing. So he did not run, so I get to advance a card, which is, and as far, you could advance any card too. There was some debate as to whether you could advance a card in the runner's score or in the runner's play area, but I think that is probably not going to be allowed. I don't know why that wouldn't be allowed, because it says a card, but the implication is it's a card on the corpse side. So Mushin Notion. This card is ridiculous. That's an operation at a double. You play it out, and then you install a card into a new server, so it has to be a new server, and you advance it up to 3 times. And then you have 1 click left in your turn. So you could just advance it again. You could put ice over it to try and defend it. You cannot score it or res it in the turn that you use Mushin Notion, which is important. So it's not really a fast advance card. It's more of a, here's a nasty trap out of nowhere. How do you want to deal with it? And once Mushin Notion comes out, I suspect we're going to be seeing some expose, because that card just seems really good to me.
Take some more money. Some last action, we'll just run.
Okay, so he gets Hemorrhage installed, and he starts hemorrhaging. Starts getting some tokens on Hemorrhage. So luckily, he did that also just so I wouldn't be able to advance for free again.
Like head's fun.
So I was not able to advance that ice. So that was a House of Knives. I scored out. So yeah, when he makes a run, I could use a power counter on there. There's 3 of them on there. I'll add them in a bit to do 1 net damage. What I like about Tennin Institute is that even if you never use the ability on Tennin Institute, even if you never get to advance something in as a result of them, like if they keep making successful runs, that's bad. But what you want to do is I think you want to leverage that threat. Like they really want to make successful runs every turn, and so it's hard to do that. It's just like as a runner, you sometimes need to take turns where you just step back a bit and build up. So you're not allowing them to take the break. And so this deck here, I have a lot of program trashing. The idea being they're going to want to run when they shouldn't. And so he did not run, so I get an advancement. So they're going to want to constantly run, and so you just trash their programs because they're just too much pressure for them to constantly run and save their programs. And yeah, that's the idea behind this deck, and I'm really interested to explore it more once Honor and Profit actually is released.
Now, Tennin can advance anything, right? It doesn't have to be something that can actually be advanced.
And yeah, Chris is asking the ruling on Tennin, and it could advance anything, and it could advance a snare. Has to be a card, so like the top card of R&D is not technically a card yet, I think. So you can't just so doing some celebrity gifts, building up some money, showing him a Fenris, another Mushin Ocean. There's that entanglement and successful demo and neural EMP. So just building up a lot of economy here. Third click. And I can't really use the Mushin Notion yet because there's only an agenda in my hand, so he would know exactly what it was. And I didn't have enough clicks to fire off Mushin Notion.
Yep.
So I ice up archives. I don't want him getting free hemorrhage tokens, hemorrhage virus, because that puts me in a bad position. All right, so he's got a rook out now.
That there. Third click.
So I think you get an idea of the sort of deck. Yeah, Xanadu's out now. So this first piece of ice costs +4 to res. You got the Xanadu +1, you got Rook +2, and Reina +1. So it's +4 for the first, +3 for the second. So that's a total. If I res both those, that's 7 credits extra I'm paying to res that ice. So I will spend some money. So it's 5 to res. And I pay 5 to res a chum, which is pretty ridiculous, but he doesn't have any way to break through that bottom ice. So he would have to hope that I'm not unable to res it. Otherwise, he's definitely taking 3 net damage. So he jacks out, and so I was hoping that would be the case because I have that successful demo in hand. So he does not make a successful run that turn, so I'm able to advance. And I luckily drew another successful demo. So I have 2 successful demos. And so I just draw another card, just because I have no other plans. I definitely want a successful demo twice this turn. I didn't have any other plan. So now I can res everything. 20 money. And as you can see, that's a chum with an advancement counter on it. So it's not really doing anything. And this is where this deck is not fully thought out, because when I threw it together like right before I had to go play. So I didn't fully think it out. I just was thinking program trashing. So I didn't even think to put Wayland. There's no Wayland ice in here. Nothing, no ice that could actually advance, or that where advancement tokens would do some useful. I also don't have Trick of Light. So it's not a fully thought out thing here yet. This deck needs some work. I just kind of threw together a bunch of cool cards and put in some Grims, and I think there's a Roto Turret. Okay. I'm gonna not res. I'm gonna use House of Knives. So I use a House of Knives token just because I can. I don't know if this deck is really a flatline deck. I haven't figured that out yet, but might as well use it. Just reinforce that. Of
course it is. All right.
So he takes a Fetal Eye. He pays for it. He loses all of his cards. He draws in his last one. So I did have a Neural EMP, so that there's 1 click off from a flatline. Maybe I'll draw a Neural EMP here. But I do draw a trap. So I have the Mushin Notion. He knows that I still have that agenda in hand. He knows that I still have the entanglement in hand. Mushin Notion. And as soon as I score the entanglement, he would take 2 net damage, I believe. So that puts him in sort of a bad position. Decide if I want to advance that again. I don't have ice, unfortunately. Like, I would have liked to maybe ice that. Would have been nice. Like a neural katana or something on top of that would have just been great.
Click draw. Second click draw.
So he's just drawing up.
Third click draw.
And this is the he draws in and then he runs on the server. and it was a June bug. So that gets him. It was a bad situation, because if he didn't run on it, then I score out the entanglement for free, basically. He takes 2 net damage anyway. So it's just a bad situation. And I could have used House of Nice there, but I don't know what message I'm sending if I use House of Nice in that run.
Like, it seems very good.
So yeah, that's sort of I don't know. This is what am I trying to say? This is hopefully what we'll be getting pretty soon with Honor and Profit. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to shake up Jinteki a lot. The criminal stuff I haven't really thought about too much, but yeah, Jinteki is going to get a lot of fun to play. So thanks for watching this weird game.